on.
It's okay.
They said they'd be back from the rent.
Great. Alright.
Here's the ransom.
No!
Pay them when they come back. Hopefully they'll take the payoff and leave us alone. Super mutants, pretty unpredictable.
No, wait.
Just wanted to trade a few things.
Okay.
No, I can't access that again? Oh my god, I don't want to have done that. Why don't you have my 500 bottle caps I gave you? Why can't I take them back? Alright. Anyways, guys, in this video, I am going to be exploring the complicated thing in Fallout 4. One of the most complicated things, and one of the most frequently asked questions is about settlement building. Now, I even asked a ton of questions about this in the beginning. I did. So yeah, let's go over it step by step. So first thing you're going to want to do is go to any settlement with a workbench that has this type of menu. Then you're going to enter this workbench. So you have a large amount of categories, you have so much stuff at the top, and you've got all these crazy things. First start about the things at the top. Alright, the people part is pretty obvious. The 8 people, that's the amount of people you have in your settlement. Alright, the food is the number of food you have, 24. So if I had 8 food, that would be sufficient, but my settlement wouldn't grow. If I have 24 food, my settlement will grow to a maximum of 24 people. I'll get into how big your settlement can possibly get, but, you know, if it could get infinitely large, if I had 5,000 food, then it would go to 5,000 people, not above that. Water, I've got a problem with water, so I should get some water. I'll show you how to do that in a minute, because I have 0, so they're not happy with that. I've got 3 power. Power is not critical. Everything else on this list is required to make a settlement happy and to make them survive. Power you don't need, but it just shows you how much power you have in total. Then there's defense. You're going to need defense because people will randomly attack you, and there'll also be quests involving you to attack. Anyways, complicated. Beds. You need beds because you need to sleep. Yeah, so beds work the same way with food and water. For every 1 person you have, you need 1 bed. Now, let's start with what you do. So when you first get to a settlement, as you can see, you can scrap a lot of things. So you notice 2 types of things. Some things will be green, meaning you can store them in your workshop or move them around however you want. Alright? But if it's yellow, if you scrap it, if you move it, or you can't move it, it's not possible, but if you scrap it or do really anything with it, it's gone forever. So just know that about that type of thing. The next thing about scrapping is you want to scrap everything. You see the size meter in the very top right-hand corner? Yeah, there's a glitch that I can show you pretty easily to bypass that. But if you don't want to use glitches or anything, then you have to make sure your size is small. And just note that keeping things not scrapped will increase your size. You see how this is orange? I can't move this. It doesn't have the option to move. For example, this block is green, so I can move it around wherever I want, or I can store it in my workshop. So let's talk about storing and scrapping. So, when you scrap something, you get the raw resources from it. When you store something like ammo, medicine, things like that, rather than getting the raw resources from it, you will go into your workshop and you'll find it. You can store most things that aren't, you can store everything that's green, actually, but, what the heck's going on? No idea what's happening. Am I thinking? Yeah, you can store most things. Yeah, that's pretty much the only difference. So, let's start now with the things you can construct and what they'll do. So go to special. I have a lot of DLC, but if you ally yourself with a Minuteman, you get this defense thing. This produces 6 defense. Now, notice how it says how much defense it produces, which is how much defense it'll add to your defense thing, and it also says what it requires. Some things might require power. So like turrets might require power. Some things require people, meaning you have to assign a settler, and I'll talk about that in a minute, to man this. So if you have 0 settlers, and you want to add some settlers so you can get some defense up, this is not going to get defense up until you assign a settler. So that's a good point. These I'm not really going to talk about, because they honestly just don't make too much sense. Dang it. I don't actually think I have a thing going to war when it comes to it, which is kind of odd. But anyways, never mind. I'll talk about that in a second. So back to here. I'm not going to talk about the automatron things, because they're really just, they're crafting wrenches and stuff like that. I have something? No, I do not. Alright. So, So yeah, if you go to structures, you find wood, metal, barn, doors, fences, and miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is pretty useless. I'm not even going to bother about that. Fences are just fences. You can get wire fences, or you can get junk fences, which are like raider type fences. So yeah, if you like either of these types of fences, you can build them. These are just for decorations. Things will spawn around walls if you have walls, so just know that. They're just pretty much for decoration. Doors are doors. Barns, this is a Far Harbor thing, but barns, metal and wood, I'll just go over wood. You got prefabs. These are like pretty small little structures, and you can even get entire houses if you just want that. Floors, walls, roofs, stairs, and miscellaneous. These aren't terribly, these just aren't terribly important. These are just decoratory things, which are really cool. Don't get me wrong, they're just not terribly important. Next is furniture. There's some important things here. Beds. It doesn't matter what type of bed you give people. I always prefer to do this just in case it doesn't matter, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But there's all these beds, and some of them are extremely cheap, some of them are... Is this a question? Nope, okay. Yeah, it says that. Then, there's just chairs. These are decoratory. There's containers. You can build whatever containers you want. Shelves, tables, and miscellaneous. This is also just decoratory, except, well, yeah, these are all just decoratory. I will help defend Outpost Zamonja, I guess, right now. I'm actually just going to make a quick save right here, so I can go back to this, as soon as this video is over. But decorations are purely decoratory. They have literally decoratory purposes only. Not even going to get into them. Power. Alright, so you have generators here. This is a generator. This generator, as you see, produces 3 power, 5 power, 10 power. The 10 power is, of course, the most expensive. And you'll find 3 power here. This is silent. All these other ones are kind of loud, as you can hear. This is the quietest one. This is silent. So it's very expensive, but it's silent. So, once you get enough resources, you might think the trade-off's worth it, but you might never. Connectors and switches. These can be kind of complicated. Not really, I don't think. And I can't show any of these to you, because these don't have any. My mind is... Well, yeah. I'll stick here. So, connector switches, power pylons. All you do with these things is if you notice the wire from your generator, I'll explain wires in a second, can't reach to where you want it to reach, let's say your light bulb or something, then you just add a pylon or something, and you just attach the wire to that, and it just sort of acts like a power conduit. There's switched power pylons. This means when you flip the switch, alright, if it's a power conduit type thing, right, you put it just like a normal power pylon. When you flip the switch, it turns all the power off. Then there's switch boxes. These are just the switch boxes you attach to a wall or something. Then there's pressure plates. These are pressure plates. Laser tripwires. These are just sort of traps, tripwires, things. Power counters. You really don't need this. I'm not going to bother explaining that. Lights, very self-explanatory, but there's a few things you're going to want to know. Notice how this one says requires 1 power. That means you have to link a generator directly to it. Alright, so if I place this word here, for example, I have to wire a generator directly to it. So I'll place this here. Related use. As we're with these things, as long as I put a generator and have a power conduit, now a generator won't work. You need a power conduit that is powered by a generator next to these, next to all the other lights that don't say require a specific amount of power. If it doesn't say requires like 1 power or 2 power or whatever amount, that means you just have to have a power conduit next to it. Next up, we have miscellaneous, and there's a few things here. Radio recruitment beacon, which is this. This is just to attract more settlers to your location. Yep, it's pretty simple. Terminals. Terminals are kind of complicated, but if you power a terminal, it'll allow you to shut down any turrets that are connected to a power source. Meaning if you have a turret that acts on its own, that will not work, but it'll allow you to do that. If you have light boxes, which are these things, just little lights, then it'll also allow you to connect those. Or if you have speakers, really all these things, just, when you plug it into a power source, it's just super simple. It'll allow you to activate them, deactivate them, and change the way they look. So that is power for you. Now wiring. So when you find this, see it produces 3 power. So this one takes 1 power. This one takes 1 power, right? So if all it's connected to is these two, and I just see how I wired here. All right, if it's red, Like if I try and stretch it all the way out here, and it becomes red, right? That means I can't bring it over there. These can't go through walls, by the way, or go through anything. So I connect this, and now it's lit up because I powered it with 1. Now let's say that thing that requires 5 power, or even 2 power. This thing only produces 3 power, so 1's being sent to this, and 1's being sent to that. So you're gonna have to get a new generator. Now we're gonna move on to defense. So you have a few types of defense. Guard posts, and these just depend on what you want them to look like and stuff. You can use these for fighting, but they will only produce defense. You see how this requires people to produce 2 defense, but you assign somebody to them. You have to assign somebody to them. Turrets. All right, so machine gun turrets and heavy machine gun turrets. With these 2 types of turrets, they don't require any power or people. These are probably the best bang for your buck. I think heavy machine gun turrets are, right? You don't require any power, you don't require anything like that. All you have to do is place it, and it activates right away. I'll show you here. You see, it's going to start preparing to attack right away. As where the rest of these turrets are very good. Laser turrets are good. Shotgun turrets are only good close range. Spotlights are important. This is a wall-mounted spotlight. It's really the same as a normal spotlight. You just bounce to a wall. And then heavy laser turrets and missile turrets. Those are all great turrets to have, but they require power. You see 2 power, 2 power. Requires 1, produces, you see all these things require power. So that you should know when you're building these things. But they're still very useful. And then traps. You'll have to repair a trap every time you use it, so just note that. This will, electricity will fly everywhere. This emits radiation, only good against humans. Flamethrower, it's a flamethrower. It's pretty simple. But you have to repair these every single time they get triggered. So just know that about them. That's a pro. I'm sorry, it's a con. Water. 3 types of water. Actually, 2 types of water. You can get water from ground, meaning pavement it will not work on, but pure ground it will work on. Alright, these things are pretty cheap. You can get 3 water. The advantage to this is you can pump and drink out of it. That is the pro you get with these. This is just the normal water purifier. This is 10 water, and this produces 40 water. These both require power. This one does not. These both require 2 power. This one requires 2 power. This one requires 5 power. The thing about these is every so often you'll receive purified water in your workshop that you can grab and take for yourself. So this one you get to drink out of when you come to it, and this one you get purified water once in a while. But it does require a lot of power, and this will also produce a lot more water. That's water for you. Food. Alright, I've got tons of food over here. Now, food you can harvest. So if I go out of this workshop mode, you can harvest all this mute fruit, and I can then plant this again if it's in my inventory, and plant new mute fruit, plant it somewhere else, or I can just use it as food and cook something with it. Those are all both very legitimate options. So then you can, tons of different types of vegetables. A settler can farm up to 6 food, meaning not 6 separate plants. He says it produces 0.5 food, so you can farm. One settler can farm 12 gourds, or they can farm 6 mute fruit plants, mut fruit plants. Or 12 tomatoes per settler. But let's say you only have 4 tomatoes. You plant down 4 tomatoes, you assign a settler to it, but then you plant down 8 more. Well, you're gonna have to unassign that settler and then reassign it for those 8 more to add to it. So you need to assign a settler for every 6 food, if that makes sense. Next up, we have miscellaneous. This is a few things. Scavenging stations. Alright, you can assign a settler to a scavenging station, and they will literally walk around and search for things for you. If you know what I mean. Like let's say you have highlighted rubber, right? You want rubber, so they will walk around and try and find rubber, and eventually you'll find rubber inside your workshop. That's what these things do. If you have a Brahmin, you're gonna want to get this. They'll tend to stay near their feeding trough, and it'll increase the amount of time they produce fertilizer. Because if you didn't know, if you have a Brahmin in your settler, in your settlement, it produces fertilizer. The way you get a Brahmin is just by getting lucky and having one settler might move that has a Brahmin. Bells, pretty simple. You can gather nearby settlers if you want to. Siren. If you've got a big attack coming, settlers I don't believe can die, but they can get wounded and stuff. So if you have a big attack coming, siren, everyone will get to cover. Fast travel target. Let's say your base fast travel is right here, right? But you have a big house right inside this factory. So when you want to spawn in, you want fast travel right here. So wherever direction this little lump is pointing in the middle, that's what you're going to face. So let's say I want right here. I'm going to spawn right in here when I fast travel. Then we go on to stores. Now you do need Royalty Leader per rank 2, and I recommend getting that immediately. So you can build lots of different types of stores. First of all, There's trader, armor, weapons, there's food and drink, clinic, and clothing. Some of these stores are just for you. All right, you can just buy things from them. As with some of these stores will increase your happiness. Traders will increase your happiness. Jesus produces a smiley face, that means happiness. Requires one person to demand, that makes sense. Oh good, you see? Look, a Brahmin showed up. Someone, a settler of the Brahmin. Cool. So, trading stand. Simple. This is just different looks for them. These are rank 2 trading stands, meaning they require more caps to use to start them up. You know what I mean? This takes like 300 caps to start. This takes 600 caps to start. And this is level 3, which takes 1,500 caps to start. Now, throughout the world, you might find people you can bring to your settlement. Some of them, if you assign here, will have legendary items for sale. So just note that. Because you might assign it's like armor. They might have legendary weapons. They might have legendary armor. These are just armor is very similar. The guy also sell armor. The higher the rank of this, like see, these first two, these are both rank 1, rank 2, and then rank 3, the last two. The higher the rank, the better stuff, and the more caps they'll have. So these are just for you. Food and drink, these also produce happiness, and you can also buy things from them. Same with that. Clinic produces happiness also, and they will repair you. And then clothing also produces happiness. These weapons and armor you see doesn't say it produces happiness. Just note that. Crafting. Once you get local leader rank 2, you also might notice that your settlement's done with armor benches, chemistry stations, all those good things. So you're going to want to just add those in. And all this does is so you can craft at your settlement stations. And I can make a video on this, guys, if you want a tutorial on workbenches. So yeah, that's that. Raider, pretty boring. Honestly, it's just Raider decorations. If you have the Nuka World DLC, and I can make a whole other video on this too, you're going to need this to make your Raider settlements happy. But for now, it's just decoration. It won't decrease happiness or anything, it's just decoration. It just looks cool. Alright. So now that we've gone over every section, let me talk about a few more things. So, first of all, the happiness is, you can only get like 70 happiness by having all your sections up here filled up. Then you have to get some bonuses. First of all, remember those things I showed you, those those stores that I showed you that produced happiness, like the trader? Yeah, you can get these trader stands pretty simply. You can build this and this will give you happiness, so that'll up your happiness of each person, right? If you have anything up there that's red, though, that will really decrease your happiness. Alright. Next up here, we've got, you can do lots of things like that. Bars do the best of that, so, food and drink stands, I mean. And then, beds. If your bed is out in the open, meaning not completely covered by walls and a roof, then you will lose a happiness. You'll get a happiness deduction. If it's covered by walls and a roof, then you will gain, happiness. So, that's cool, right? Also, when it rains, structures that you built, the rain will just look like it's passing through. You won't see raindrops fall, but you will just see it wet. It'll look wet. As for this structure made by Bethesda isn't wet. I don't think so. Just a little wet. No. Alright. Those are the two main ways to really produce your happiness, up it up. That's what I'd recommend. Now, we're going to be talking about provisioners. So, once you get local leader rank 2, you get something called provisioners. Now, here's the thing, right? Provisioners, you can send one of your settlers, and it will link up to another location. So these are your supply lines, right? I have pretty much everything linked to Starlight Driving. It's my main settlement. And ooh, people aren't too happy in Starlight Driving. Anyways, it is my main settlement. I'm just gonna say that. And then all these things go to it, so that means they all share resources. So let's say you have 3,000 copper at settlement A.
Seems to be growing well.
Then settlement B will also share that inventory. Now, when you look at the workbench in settlement B, you're not going to see 3,000 copper, but you'll be able to access it when you try and build things. Super useful. Do note though, if you have the Automatron DLC, for every human being can have up to 100 happiness, as where every robot can only have up to 50. This includes provisioners, so if you send a provisioner from a location, it will drag down your happiness. Just note that. Alright, so that is about it. There's plenty of other things you guys can explore and learn with this settlement crafting system. This is the basics. I'm not even covering how to build cool buildings or anything. I'm just covering how this system works and how you can get some good settlements started up. To find more settlements, talk to Preston Garvey. He will have plenty to do. Or if you've already captured the castle, listen to Minutemen Radio. They'll always have things for you to do. This is Ender's Diamond. I hope to see you guys all in a future video. Goodbye, guys.